And we're live.
All that preliminary stuff that can remain secret.
Top secret. So any others?
I have been using Clojure 1.11 for a new Clojure project, but I haven't used any Clojure 1.11 feature yet.
Okay.
There are several times comments on pull requests on applications that we have that are pre-Clojure 1.11, and I would be like, oh, I wish we had update vals because the code would look like this, and it's like so much more concise. Like my favorite from today was there was a map of key to, and then there was like a vector of values for each of the keys, and they wanted to change each of those vectors into sets, and so it was just update vals set. Like it's so concise to see what the how to change it over. He had some reduced KV, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot of what we used to have. We've got let's see, we've got 14 of them all together, of which 8 are update vals and 6 are update keys.
I think many projects have implemented in the past their own update vals and update keys, and I'm working a little bit on this open source project called Martian, which is a open API front client, and I'm using Clojure 1.11, and it keeps complaining that the old stuff is, getting shadowed and whatever. So, I mean, the old stuff is shadowing the new implementation in Clojure core.
Yeah, I think as soon as the math stuff came in, I went around various libraries creating issues, going, 1.11 compatibility. You're shadowing this function or that function, and most folks were like, "Oh, good to know. Okay, I'll get a fix out." They've mostly just renamed their internal stuff where they can, because abs is a new core function. And a lot of code has its own abs functions.
True. And even the parse long and.
Oh yeah, I have used random UUID. That's or I think it's random UUID, or maybe it's the parse UUID. Is that the one I've used?
Yeah.
I think random UUID was already in there. I think it's the parse. It's the parse int, parse, float. Those ones they're now. There's wrappers that you don't have to use the interop anymore. So.
Yeah, parse long, parse double, parse UUID. And random UUID, I think, was a new addition, wasn't it? Because that way it can be compatible with ClojureScript.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing a bunch of random UUID calls in our code, and I think that I did that fairly recently. Oh, it doesn't say.
Anyone kept up on Bork Watch 2022?
What watch?
Bork Watch.
Oh, Bork
I saw that there was
watch.
a new version of CLJ Conda today, and one of the features is like it detects unnecessary FN wrappers or unneeded. Like if you wrap an FN and you basically have a function that takes one arg, you can just pass the function by itself. And I thought it's cool.
Yeah, I ran into that. I answered a question on Stack Overflow and I was trying to match what the question was and accidentally put in one of those that would have been caught by that particular. What other news? I don't know.
I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to keep up like I usually have, so I'm missing. I do. You mentioned Martian earlier. I don't know if it was after we started recording or not, but when the time comes for me to, I'm going to be doing some API consumption. I'm going to try Martian out.
It's
Looks very
nice.
promising.
I've been, I like it in general, but I think it was mostly done for Swagger, so OpenAPI 2. So it's got some problems with OpenAPI 3.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but hopefully by the time you get to it, I will have put in PRs and got some of those things fixed.
Good. Well, let me know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to use the Amazon advertising APIs using that, but that's what I'm using to exercise
okay.
stuff right now.
Cool. Yeah. Amazon APIs are pretty trivial and small, so it should be pretty easy.
Yeah, we've just been working with some of the Apple App Store APIs, and the JSON file describing their main API is 1.5 megabytes of JSON.
Agreed.
And when we actually went through and took it apart and looked at what it did, that main API doesn't do a lot that we need, and it turns out there's like 2 or 3 other APIs that we have to use as well that are much simpler, that actually do what we need. So I'm fortunate I'm not the developer working on that, but I think there is much wailing and gnashing of teeth going on around that.
Whenever I start working on another API, consuming another API, I seem to spend 80+% of my time trying to get the authentication to work. And then once that's there, the rest is not that hard.
Well, should we take a look at Reveal?
Good idea.
Yeah.
Nate, I had mentioned that I may have to drop off early, so just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many has anyone used Reveal extensively? I think
I used it a lot. I started with Cognitex Rebel when they first made that available, and I used that all the time. But I got frustrated because it's closed source. You can't look at it and extend it and do anything with it. So when Reveal came along and seemed stable enough to use, I switched to Reveal. And it's very nice. I was using it all day, every day, almost instead of a REPL. I mean, I have it connected to my REPL, and I had it alongside my editor. But it was a little bit of a pain because it's a JFX app. And certainly when I was on Windows, that meant it popped up as its own X GUI alongside my Windows editor, and it didn't behave very nicely next to the Windows thing. So I switched to Portal just at the point that Chris was releasing the VS Code extension.
Mm.
So the way I use it now is, again, almost instead of a REPL, but I actually have it inside VS Code. So it's just another panel inside VS Code. And he's done the same for IntelliJ. So that's what I'm using now. But yeah, I used Reveal for a long time and really liked it.
I've talked about it a bunch at my company, and I use it there every once in a while. I'll use it. I'll pop it up to mostly when I'm running a test and I'm like, there's 2 values that are they're not the same. I want to see them. Most of the time I can use Clojure it does a nice deep diff view of what the differences are, but sometimes I want to have a little more of a view. And so that's where I use it mostly. I know there's a lot more power to it. I just haven't gotten into it, which is
Yeah,
be
because
fun to
I
explore
use
some of
tap
those
a lot
things
for
now.
debugging.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is kind of one of the nice fruits of having tap in the language. I mean, I work against live processes that are running with socket REPLs in them. So we have a legacy app that you have to start from the command line, and it starts a Clojure socket REPL, and then I attach to it. And I can start that with Reveal or Portal. I'm doing it with Portal these days. And then redefine functions on the fly full of tap calls and just interact with the app, and everything pops up inside, it would pop up inside Reveal. So being able to just tap arbitrary data and have it not affect your production code is really just kind of amazing. And tools like this that let you visualize that data as graphs or as differences or whatever else is really, really powerful.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that it was such a good thing that tap is part of the language. It's just like built in. I'm glad that it is. It's one of those things that probably would be difficult to do as a library, but so glad to have it there. All right. Well, I figure maybe we just go through the Reveal README, not the README, but the web documentation. So let me share my screen. Such a way that we can see. Usually I can just share my terminal, and now I have to share a whole screen because at least I'll have my terminal on a browser, and now I'll have terminal browser and Reveal. Like, this is getting towards what Sean was talking about. Let me see. All right. Is that big enough?
Mm-hmm.
Looks
to
good.
see? Font's a little bit bigger. Guess we don't really need. Whoa. Okay. So Reveal, Read Eval Visualize Loop. Rationale. REPL is a great window into running a program, but textual nature of its output limits developers' ability to inspect the program. Text is not an object. We're dealing with objects in the VM. Reveal aims to solve this problem by providing a set of tools for the JVM, like an output pane and inspector pop-ups that make exploring objects as easy as pointing at them. Recognizes the value of using a text as a universal interface. That's why its output looks like text by default. You can select it, copy it, save it into a file. Unlike text, Reveal output panels hold references to printed values, making inspecting selected value a matter of opening a context menu. Not being limited to a stream of characters, it uses judicious syntax highlighting to aid in differentiating various objects. Text integer looks differently depending on whether it was produced from a symbol or a class. Reveal Pro. So there's a Pro version. Provides a set of extensions that improve the developer experience. So you can focus on your data with knowledge you need available as soon as you need it. Cool. So I have my editor here and I started a REPL. So I just added the Reveal, the latest Reveal. So if I say, I'll bring the window up in a bit, tap one. Let's see what the window is here. Oh, the window's not up. So let me see, how do I open it? Tap log. Reveal tap log. Ah, there we go. That is a very small font. Hopefully it's readable. Is it possible to make it bigger? No.
I think you'd have needed options in the startup when you did that.
Gotcha. Is it too small to see for you guys?
I can read it on my 27-inch screen, but
Yeah, I'm wondering if on the recording, if it will be a little hard to see.
It's readable for me. I think it should be fine on the recording.
I think anyone watching it on a laptop's going to have a hard time. But
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I think there's options. Maybe we can restart it with options. All right. So tap support, of course. You don't want the reveal. Oh, this is what we just said. We want reveal user reveal as a REPL output pane. You can use a tap log sticker always on top window. That is really nice. I like the always on top. When you have two windows, managing to try to find the second one is always a hard one. Oh, all NS. That's a good one. You can evaluate code on any selected value by using text in the context menu, text input. You can either write a single symbol or a function call on or a form where *v is replaced by the selected value. Oh, wow. Okay, so count 281. Interesting. Oh, cool. Escape clears that. That's good. This GIF is a little or GIF.
Yeah.
It's a little fast. I'm trying to follow what he's doing. Sort by or sort. You say sort by stir. Okay. Nice. Oh, there's the resize. Trying to find the resize on the lower left, and it's up on the upper right, or sorry, the lower right. Very cool. So then you can just do count on this, and then you can do times 2. You can end up with lots and lots of windows.
yeah, it doesn't. If you start it as a REPL, you don't normally get that. So you get just the one window with the split sort of REPL and viewer pane.
Yeah, is that
You started this with tap log, didn't you?
Yeah. What is it? Reveal.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just, if you start it as a REPL, as your primary REPL, it'll just work and do the right thing, but I don't remember what the function is for that. Oh, maybe that's it. Open view. Ah, no, sorry.
Let me see. I know I've done it before. I'm looking in the code for my reveal UI. That's what it is.
Ah, yes.
I knew there was something. All right, reveal UI. All right, I do know. I did copy these ones over from before because they're handy. There's a dispose is what closes all the windows when you have too many of them. So reveal UI. Okay, now if I do this. I thought that would have showed up over here.
Is it something you have to do with the Reveal UI to make that?
Oh, I see. It's oh, that's a funny. There you go. You have to. It gives you back something you pass to add tab.
Ah, right. Yeah.
This one has resizing on the bottom. That's good.
Yeah.
So let's try this again. Sort by stir.
There we go.
So now we got our history.
Yeah.
That's much nicer.
Hey Nate, could you explain what you just did once you ran Reveal UI to there's a step? I'm having problems following you because I'm trying to do it also, and my reveals are on top of the presentation.
So yeah, okay. So what Reveal UI gives you is it creates a reveal window, and but it returns you a function, and the function takes either 0 args or 1 arg, and the 1 arg version is something you can add. You can add to tap. You can add because you have to whenever you call tap arrow, it doesn't do anything unless you've added a tap, like added a receiving function, so to speak. And I think it's like if you add multiple, like when you tap everything gets it, right? Yeah. It's a broadcast.
Yeah. And then you can remove individual ones by passing in the object of the function that you
same
added.
function.
Yeah. So you can do an add tap print line, and stuff will show up in console, and then you just do a remove tap print line and it stops showing up in console. So that's kind of a nice way to get your print line debugging back when you're using tap if you want that. What I tended to do was if I had a socket REPL running in a process, I would telnet into it from a command line and do add tap print line and let it just print out the string version of absolutely anything that got tapped while I was working with Reveal to look at actual structured data.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for explaining that. That makes sense now. I just got kind of mixed up for a minute between the GIFs and your reveals and my reveals.
Yeah, it's a little sort of intense with the multiple animations going.
I'll scroll a bit. Okay, so eval, that's really cool. Okay, I haven't used that before. I've only ever used it to just inspect it here or do a table view. I didn't realize you could actually type in that little window that pops up. That's a very cool feature. I will definitely be using that. Okay, cool. So the next step is SQLDB Explorer, only for Reveal Pro. It's a Explorer. You can view the DB schema and browse relational data across multiple tables using a DB Explorer action.
Yeah, if you have NextDB, NextJDBC, it has a whole bunch of database metadata stuff that's compatible with Datafi and Nav. So you can actually use NextJDBC functions to produce data structures that Reveal and Portal will let you navigate the database with. So it's something that I tend to do a lot when I'm working with data, because you can get hold of a connection and then you can get pretty much any of the metadata about the database from that. So you can get all the tables and you can drill into those and look at the types, or you can get result set metadata and look at all of the column data. So the SQLDB Explorer kind of packages all that up in a nice ready-to-use package, but essentially it's NextJDBC under the hood with Datafi and Nav. How many folks have used Datafi and Nav?
I've only read about it in Legend.
you are missing out. It is awesome. And funnily enough, my colleague Kevin Downey, who's the hired man pretty much everywhere, he's been the one working with the Apple App Store API pull guy. But one of the things that he did was he started working with Datafi and Nav on it, and Portal, and actually being able to visualize it and then navigate through the entire API structure automatically in the viewer, and Reveal would let you do the same thing.
Is there, so Next JDBC supports Datafi and Nav, so that you can like the data the API has to support it. Is there any other, like, is there an API wrapper that supports it? Do you know of, or?
You have to add it as metadata.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Datafi and Nav exist for some of the built-in things. For example, the namespaces. So you pulled up the list of namespaces when you did all in S. If you look at a particular namespace and do Datafi, well, do Nav on it. It'll probably let you, yeah. So here we go. So here's the data representation of the namespace. And then you can navigate into things. You don't do it from the top panel, you do it from the bottom panel. So if you can back up. There we go, okay. So for example, I think with this, if you were to...
I picked a pretty gnarly one. I couldn't
find
that.
Yeah.
Here I go, Clojure test, Datafi, there you go.
Yeah, so I think now if you click on, let's see, depends on how it's been set up, but
sorry,
what you can do with vars, I think, is, yeah, if you find something that's got a var, so one of those, click on the var and then right click and see what you get. And now nav that. Oh, okay, so it's not going to give you much. I thought that there was Datafi and Nav on vars, but it may only be on namespaces by default. In my editor setup, I've added a whole bunch of other stuff so I can kind of navigate around metadata and stuff like that. What you should be able to do if you've got a var is if you right click, what are the options on it?
Datafi, deref, doc, Java Bean, meta.
Yes, you can pull up meta. And so now you get the map of that, which of course you can also treat as data you can view as a table or whatever you want. So, you know, it's all just data all the way down.
Right.
I think in Cognitect Rebel, they actually had a way to let you navigate through the dynamic call tree. It's a trick you can do where it's accessible through Clojure. I can't remember where the code is. The code got posted somewhere. But essentially, the call tree can become this lazy structure you can navigate through Datafi and Nav. So it has tremendous power. If you're working with Java JDBC, sorry, Next JDBC and datasets, you can navigate through primary keys. So if you get a result set and view it as a table, you can then nav into anything that's a primary key. And it does it by convention that if it's like foo ID, it assumes it's a table foo with column ID. You can
okay.
That. And so you can actually go through result sets you get back and then navigate through the database through foreign key relations, which can be pretty useful.
Yeah, I think I want to try that. I have several databases for work that I don't know the data structure. I was not the architect, and so to be able to fly through them would be good. Hopefully not accidentally pull all the data into my local system. Well, cool. I'm definitely going to try exploring that more. And and get a JDBC, next JDBC connection and see what I can go from there. Do you do some of that exploring in Reveal, or is that in Portal, or both? It's kind of the same both ways.
It's Datafi and Nav, so it'll work in both. I originally did it with Cognitect Rebel.
Okay.
And in fact, I kind of bolted it on to Clojure Java JDBC when I was at Conj when they announced Cognitect Rebel. So I kind of hacked away on it during the conference. And then when I wrote next.jdbc, I just built it in. And then added a whole bunch of database metadata, Datafi and Nav stuff, so that you can go through tables and views and all sorts of other stuff as well. So whatever viewer you're using, whether it's Rebel, Reveal, Portal, they all let you do this. And so if you're working with Next JDBC, you will have great fun in these.
Cool. I'm just gonna arrange my windows here so I can have them all in the same place. All right, so you can open a temporary pop-up window by calling reveal inspect, which I think I did already up here. So that's just a one-off window. And if I do something on here, yeah, it's a new. Okay. Oh, that does go away with just with hitting escape. That's nice. You can just. I see. That kind of makes more sense as to why every time you do an operation, it pops up a new window. That way you can keep the ones you want and then kill the ones you don't want. Interesting. Very cool. System watcher stickers. This feature is only available in Reveal Pro. If you're using Component, Integrant, or Mount, you will find it useful to have a small sticker window that shows the current state of your dev system. Let's see if I can start this video. With controls to start and stop it. You don't need to remember if it's running or not when you can always see it. Oh yeah, right over here, there's an integrate system with a start and stop button on it. Huh, that's kind of cool.
I am thinking about something. Was there any attempt to get something like Reveal inside the browser instead of a different JavaFX window?
I don't know. I mean, because isn't Vlad the person who's worked on the CLJFX library? So it's
Yeah,
kind of
I think he's the one who wrote it.
Would build a JavaFX.
Because I was thinking if those views were displayed inside a browser, the potential for being modified by third-party people would be greater because there is a lot more developers for the front end compared to developers who know how to use JavaFX.
Well, and that's kind of why we've got Portal as well.
Okay, I did not take a look at that yet.
Yeah, Portal. Portal's the browser version essentially, and that's why it's able to have an embedded window inside VS Code and IntelliJ.
Yeah, I think we should do the same thing like we're doing for the reveal, but do that with Portal next time, because I think that just exploring it and seeing how it's different, how it's the same, would be quite fun.
Folks have to drop off, so I will see you next month.
Good to see you, Dorab. Have a good February.
See you.
All right, so up next is Vegalite. Vegalite is a declarative data visualization language that uses JSON for visualization descriptions. Reveal bundles of view that converts Clojure data structures to JSON and shows them as Vega visualizations, providing a convenient way to explore the data. I feel like it would be, I'm not going to try to transcribe the data there. So loading up some stock prices, making a Vega data structure. My experience, I've only seen Vega. I have not used Vega, but I have seen, like, I think I would like to use it at some point, but has anyone else here used Vega before? No.
Only in the context of these tools.
Gotcha. Does seem like there's a decent amount of extensibility to to Vincent's point. I recognize that it's Clojure, but I don't know what those, like, it's not as familiar as the web technologies would be, I think. Oh, he's gonna make the whole spec there. Oh, it's a longer one than I thought. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I've done more of this stuff in R. I haven't done as much of it in Clojure yet. I want to, I just haven't had a chance to. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so Apple's doing better than Microsoft. That's very cool. So I don't know if you can see on the bottom here, it says the inspection function is r/Vega view. It's like looks like it was a separate yeah, maybe that's moved somewhere else or something. Yeah, r/Vega view, r observable view. Is r observable view there? Oh, it's not r, it's reveal. Oh, there it is. CLJ FX component that can show a Vegalite visualization. Live view produced from some data source. Oh, that's cool. So you can watch an atom. Seems like. Inspect, okay, next up, inspect object fields and properties. Any object in the JVM has class and field, making them easily accessible for inspection. With Java Bean, you get a debugger-like view of objects in the JVM. NS interns Clojure. For example, any class given the class path, we're going through these are all the different the function in Clojure core, looks like. Oh, wow. Did you run Java Bean on it? Well, there's certainly a lot of a lot of detail there. Huh. Wow. All right. I learned about it after implementing this feature. Interesting. Forms is available only in Reveal Pro, which it's a subscription billing thing. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. Forms allow you to convert data structure specifications, Clojure specs into UI components for creating those data structures. Generic and multi-purpose tool that can be used for learning possible shapes of data, exploring data-driven APIs, creating data structures with contextual help. So this one is just a GIF, so I don't know if we're form spec Clojure NS. There you go. So NS name, NS clauses. So this is like exploring the spec for the NS form. Wow, I don't know if I realized there were that many options in the NS.
Yeah.
It goes quite a ways. I wonder if at the end of this you can like say, and then, you know, extract out what you made.
I think that's
Yeah.
what it will do. It lets you, yeah, you can fill in the bits and it'll generate your code, I bet.
Cool. It's one of those, you can tell there's a lot of power there. That's cool. Vegalite provides JSON schemas that are supported by forms. It's very useful to explore and build visualizations using the Vega form view. All right, get our stock data again. There it is. Wow. I like at the bottom, it says 26 more keys. It's quite a bit of stuff there. Wow, 31 more keys. She's going through and building the same thing he had before, but he's just building it via a form. I mean, this is a pretty hefty form. Wow. That's cool. I think it'd be cool to say like, type out the manual version and then pull it into here and see what the differences are. I think it's a little daunting to create it from this, but it is really cool to see how expressive it is. I wonder what the same thing for like the AWS cognitive, the cognitive AWS API, you know, here's 11,000 more keys. All right, look and feel. Oh, good. Can be configured with Java or Vlad reveal prefs Java property. Font size. And I think this is where here. I'm gonna Sean put in the chat.
Mhm.
So that goes. Just go. Can it go at the top level here?
Let's see, what are you typing into?
I can also put it in my alias too.
Yeah. No, you can't have JVM. Well, you put JVM ops into your aliases as an opt, so that's not right. You want it inside the reveal alias.
Oh, this is the alias I'm using, REPL. I guess I can add
Correct.
that one
Inside
too.
the REPL one. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah.
No, it's a little confusing, yeah. Let me just...
But you'll need it when you're using reveal, so it can go in the reveal alias.
Okay, so then I go back here. Load up the namespace. And then if I start. There we go. Oh, look at that. Positively enormous. My tab here. There you go. That's much easier to read.
Mhm.
Have it up on the big screen TV. Well, that's cool. All right. You can open URL-like things in files, both internally in Reveal and externally using other applications in your OS, File Explorer, browser, or text editor. So if we do browse internal. Oops. Oh, get the spinny ball. Okay, there you go. There you go. That's cool. I wonder if you could use this to browse JavaDoc. That's one thing I don't have quite hooked up with my editor is the ability to jump straight to JavaDoc. But external, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's. I was going to say you can browse internal as well with it, or you used to be able to, but the internal browser wasn't quite as full-featured. So some of the web pages you try and bring up don't come up as cleanly.
Oh, gotcha. Very cool. File system. Only in Reveal Pro, use Java's file system APIs to navigate folders and zip jar archives. Explore class path. Splits the class path. And then maps each thing into a Java file, a Java IO file. Okay. Seems like a really interesting way of browsing around. Cool. Any thoughts so far that we haven't shared? Reveal can show you documentation and sources for various runtime values, namespaces, vars, symbols, doc functions, keywords. Like CLJ-doc, it supports WikiLeaks syntax and doc strings to refer to other vars, making them accessible for further exploration. Doc. Oh, wow, look at that. That's pretty cool. Main API namespace for CLJFX. Well, that's the biggest namespace documentation I found in a while. That's cool. Oh, and source. Ah. Guess that's just. Interesting. All right, I'm going to clear the output. This is from my usage before at work. I've found that these are very useful to have. Reveal, you can like submit commands to it, and so they have different various commands. Dispose takes all the windows and throws them away. Toggle minimize just minimizes the window, which is nice for getting things out of the way when you don't want it. But it's also nice that it doesn't like take the focus away, so it doesn't take the focus from your editor. And then clear output, I just use to wipe the slate clean. You know, helps do that before I run a test or something, so that I'm seeing just the data from that test run. Everyone still doing okay? Enjoying the ride? Okay, good. Ref watchers. Reveal can watch any object implementing Clojure lang iref, things like atoms, agents, vars, refs, displayed either automatically updated or as a log of successors. Oh, I like this. Def x atom 1. So I guess if I do app x, now what does he do? Watch all. Trying quickly to replicate the code. Oh, wow, there it goes.
Oh, nice.
That is very cool. especially that I switched to the latest view and it didn't skip a beat. That's, oh. Huh. That is very useful. That is very cool. Have you used that, the watch? I guess you're more on the portal side these days, but did you ever use that watching thing for any?
To be honest, no, I didn't.
Interesting?
I know that some people think it's very cool and very useful, but I never found a use for it. And maybe it's just because I don't use ref style data that changes over time much. So I just didn't have a use to debug it.
I see a good use. I don't know if it is usable on a CLJS program, but in a reframe context, you could use it to watch a specific subscription and to have the history of all the changes on a very specific subscription would be priceless.
Yeah, it's probably more useful for Clojure script development. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wonder if you can use it for Clojure script. I mean, I don't think there's a reason why I wouldn't be able to, but it always seems like trying to get something working in Clojure script takes a little extra effort.
Yeah, I don't know, because the Clojure script would have to communicate to a JVM JVM system that was running Reveal, because Reveal runs in the JVM.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are remote machinery facilities with Reveal, but I don't know how that works for Clojure script. Maybe it tells us in the docs later on.
Yeah, I mean, I think I definitely know that there's a portal by running in the browser is much closer to that that side of things. All right. Oh, charts. Charts can show data of particular shapes so reveal can show data of particular shapes as charts that are usually explorable. Usually, when you find an interesting data point in the chart, you can then further inspect the data at that point. Simplest is labeled numbers. Labeled means those numbers exist in some collection with a unique label for each number. Maps, sequential collections, indices are labels, and for sets, the labels are the numbers are the labels themselves. So we have apples. And then what do we do? What do we run? View pie chart. There you go. That's cool. Other charts support more flexible data shapes, both because they can show more than one data series, and because they can be explored. I wonder if he shows how this can be explored, or if this is just a static. Yeah. Since JVM numbers don't allow metadata, you can say use tuples where the first item is a number and the second is metadata. Bar charts can display labeled numbers, single data series, or labeled numbers that are themselves labeled multiple data series. We'll just watch that one. So there's multiple dimensions, me and you, apples and cucumbers and oranges. Makes a bar chart, apples and cucumbers. Oh, that's just you. You should do the whole thing, bar chart. Wow, that's pretty magical to be able to detect that much from the data structure. Oh, wow. Line charts are useful to display progressions. So Reveal suggests them to display as sequential numbers. Finally, Reveal has scatter charts to display coordinates on a 2D plane. Coordinate is represented as a tuple of two numbers, and as with numbers, you can use a tuple of coordinate and arbitrary value in the place of a coordinate. Reveal will suggest scatter charts for collections of coordinates and labeled collections of coordinates. So a collection of coordinates would be like, this is probably not going to work very well, but we'll try it. Scatter chart. It's not a very interesting scatter chart, but it worked the way I thought it was going to. Huh. I do kind of like that, like basically get your data in the right shape and then it'll detect it.
I wonder if you could throw that data of the correct shape into an atom and watch that as a changing chart. That would be cool.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm trying to think about how I'd actually update that. So I wonder if I can. This. It's not giving me the. Oh, I need to do atom. There we go.
So this kind of has some similarities with Clerk and the other notebooking tools, just as far as like the tools that it's providing for us to interact with things with. Though this is much more like real time and exploratory in nature versus trying to create a document, you know, that would persist after that session, after our session.
Yeah, definitely more exploratory and less I don't know, posterity. Yeah, I wonder if there, because that, so you can, there, the problem is, I wonder, so maybe you can do scatter chart. Okay, now I've got the scatter chart of it. Well, but it's scatter chart of just that value. Yeah, it didn't, when I changed the atom, it didn't change the, I mean, it changed this watcher. But yeah, I guess that would be like a composite view where it's like a watcher, a scatter of a watcher. There may be a way to do that in the future. We're only halfway through the README or the docs. Table view, there are cases where it's better to get a sense of the value when it's represented by a table. Collections of homogeneous items where columns make it easier to compare corresponding parts of those items. Yes, this is definitely true. And deeply nested data structures and big, deeply nested data structures where it's easier to look at them layer by layer. Oof. I wonder if this is the way, or because it's the table view will do if you have, I remember when I think I learned about it on the Clojure Slack when he was playing with it, when Vlad was playing with it. But if you have like data that's nested, but there's like a collection of multiple of those, it'll actually put more layers of column headers in and flatten the table out, so it's not just a map in there. I hope that it shows it in here because that was really cool. I wonder if it's over here in his now it was, I'll have to dig it up. It was really cool. And it really helped because a lot of times I deal with data that's nested, but it's also nested in the same way. Like it's a collection of maps and each map has the same key, which has a submap, and that submap has the same structure across all the maps. Like it's homogeneous across the collection. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, it handles it really well. So reveal was designed to be performant. You can do text search that's triggered by /. Oh. Ah. Oh, that's cool. So like if I want to go to apples, now I'm on that. I wonder how do I go to the, oh, there you go. I don't know if there's a way of bringing up the menu, maybe space. Oh, there you go. Ah, very cool. So now you can like navigate around with your arrow keys. Space. There you go. I'm a big fan of keyboard driven stuff, so that makes me very happy. Be able to fly around. Being able to just do /, the Vim user in me also is happy. Can I do KH? Oh, I can't do J. I can't do the Vim navigation keys. Oh well, I'll still be happy. Wow, interesting. So we're more than halfway through the README, and it's finally here's what we're looking at. Results panel, context menu, output panel. Cool. We're already pretty familiar. Oh, here's the key bindings. Okay. Tab to switch between the top and the bottom. We're moving around, tab. I don't know if there's a way to get to this. I really like that there's the history there. That's a really useful feature, because then you can build those up over time and refer back to them. I see myself doing that a lot.
Is there something like a bookmark function?
I don't know. That'd be good. It would be cool if you could like, oh, it's like, I wonder if it's like, okay, I've done all these, but now I don't really care about this one. Like, can I just delete that one? It's like if I hit escape, it deletes them off of the end of the stack, but I can't kill one out of the middle. Yeah, there's something about like the freedom of exploration, which is really cool, but then suddenly you find something that is really valuable and now you want to hold on to it, and reveal is like everything is, ephemeral.
Maybe at that point you open a new window with that value and keep the window.
Yeah, you use the inspect one. I wonder if you can just go like, yeah, there's no inspect. Reveal. See if reveal is in here. Oh, no source. Oh, that's a nice, it's a lot of red, but it's a nice looking stack trace. No such var reveal inspect. Okay, so I think if I go lad, how many A's? 3 A's. Percent. There you go. So yeah, you can just do an inspect on it, and then you have it off to one place, and you can do your scatter chart, and you're on your way towards saving it. That's cool. I won't read all of those. Structural navigation. Output panel has natural structural navigation that is activated by pressing arrow keys while holding Alt. Cursor will jump to the next value in the direction of the arrow. I wonder if that's command on Mac. Alt home and Alt end. Doesn't seem to be working for me, but I would blame my keyboard setup before I blame reveal. Oh, there's the prefs again. There we go. User API. Ah, REPL wraps the REPL. We did that at the very beginning. IOP REPL. Now the P REPL is not socket REPL, right, John? That's socket is more low level, right?
Socket is a text REPL, so you type in lines and you get printed responses and then the result printed. And PREPL is a programmable REPL where you type in an expression and you get back a hash map that says what the form was, what the result was, how
what the
long it
result
took,
was,
and so on. So the idea is PREPL is for programs to communicate with each other, and you can start a socket PREPL just as easily as you can start a socket text REPL. So reveal is using that programmable REPL as a way to communicate with remote processes, essentially.
So you can, if your
I
process
looked
is
into this
remote.
And I never quite got this to work based on my understanding of it, but in theory, it allows you to set up essentially proxies so that you can communicate with a remote process through reveal. And so you can get tapped output coming back to reveal, and you're sending stuff into reveal from the front. He did a big write-up of it. I can't think where that was. But it went into a lot more detail about the whole thing about REPLs and networks and
Yeah.
what
that's probably it. Yeah, it's over.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this on his blog?
Yeah. So the Vlad github.io/reveal, but if you just go to the root, it's his blog.
Yeah.
And
this
is yeah. Wow. It's kind of weird to think that January 2021 was over a year ago.
Time flies when we're having fun.
That's what they say. Here we go. The UI function. Create and show a reveal window. Yeah, and this I copied from my reveal namespace that I have when I set things up. And basically what it does is it creates a reveal, like it caches that function. It adds the tap, and then I set it I basically capture the value so that I can then run that, and it'll dispose of it. So that's my way of cleaning it back up. But here's the example of you pass it to add tap, and it acts as a tapping function, and you just call it directly, and it disposes of itself. Tap log, better way to display tap values is using a specialized tap log window that will unsubscribe from the tap queue when the window is closed. Oh, that's useful. You can open up, inspect a new temporary sticker window for value inspection using either inspect or the reveal inspect reader tag. Oh, wow. So like if I go inspect reveal. A reader function for tag inspect reveal. I wonder why that didn't work. I wonder if that's something that only works inside the REPL, the above REPL UI. Let's see, sticker. This is a generic sticker window similar to inspect. Is this for a different purpose though? Creating longer lived always on top windows for frequently used views. Like that mount tracker that was shown above. It's harder to close. You need to close windows shortcut like Control W instead of escape. Bounds group defaults to the title value of a, bounds group defaults to the value of a provided title. So it's easier to create a specialized piece for a particular sticker just by providing a distinct title. I wonder if I go like this and I make it change it to X. I don't know if that did anything. Oh, here. It brought it in the window down here. So then if I reset it, yeah, so if I reset the atom, it updates it here. So this is like you can do like a watcher that's on top, always on top.
So it's like a bookmark system.
Yeah, and then you can't, yeah, escape doesn't close it. It's a little more durable. I wonder if I do a, now if I change this, okay, it just, this is the captured value. It's not dynamically watching. This is just the one that's dynamically watching. Interesting. Let's see, editor integration. Cursive and REPL, this is what I use with it. Windows, extending reveal, custom formatters, actions, and views. I'll share one feature that I'll share is annotations, non-intrusive metadata that exists alongside your objects in the reveal state. Unlike Datafi and Nav based tooling, it does not obstruct your objects, leaving Clojure's metadata exactly as it is. And since the annotation is alongside the object, reveal allows any object to be annotated, not just iMetas. You do custom formatters. What was it? Actions and views. If selected text in your Reveal UI has an associated value, requesting a context menu on it will show a pop-up that checks all registered actions and just ones that apply. Use def action ID macro to register new actions. Minimal action example. Oh, here, cool. That shows how strings look unescaped. So def action unescape when string X. Interesting. Okay. Here's a bigger example that shows how actions and formatting can build on each other to aid in data exploration. Loom, Loom, the graph library. This adds formatting and navigation support for Loom, a Clojure library for building graph data structures. Let's see, def stream. Def action, here's def action. Action on a selected node, action on a node to see its graph, on a graph to see its edges. It's interesting. It looks like it uses a conditional inside to say if it will be viewable or not. Has anyone ever done anything with Loom? I've only ever heard of it. Yeah, I don't have anything graphy yet. All right, views. A major difference between the output panel and results panel is that the latter can show any graphical node allowed by Reveal's UI framework, JavaFX. Reveal is built on SealJFX, a declarative, functional, and extensible wrapper of JavaFX inspired by React. Reveal converts all action results to SealJFX component descriptions, and if returned action result is a description, is rendered as a UI component. Action results. So what are the results of these functions? Are vertically. I'm guessing this is a vertically. Streaming function that streams values vertically. Good name for it then. So these are returning reveal views. So they get shown down below. Short SealJFX intro. Wow. I have only looked at a few examples. I've never used SealJFX. To thoroughly learn it, go through the README examples. Okay, I think we'll just leave that as another. Oh, here you go. Value view. a watch all, watch latest, observable view, table view shows a table. So these are the ones that are built in. Oh, there's a line chart view too. That's cool. Oh, okay, that was mentioned before, right? They do not try to guess the shape of the data in the same way that their corresponding actions do. The line chart data sequence always has to be labeled, even if there's only one data series. Yeah, one thing I thought was interesting is that these commands up here, like if you submit a command, you're just passing, it's just a map of data. So the command system is data driven. It's very inspectable. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. I mean, it feels like the cognitive AWS API. It's just the data in, data out. I appreciate that. Fancy visualizations don't have to be leaf nodes. You can only look at it. Wouldn't it be nice to select a data point and a plot and explore it as a value? Reveal supports this continued data exploration for built-in views like charts and tables out of the box. In addition to that, it provides a way to install a pop-up function to any JavaFX node with a special component, Popup view. This description shows label that you can request a context menu on. Popup will suggest actions on the Clojure core namespace. It's a bigger example showing how to create a custom view for a chess server that displays active games as chessboards and allows inspecting any piece. Bigger example. Ooh. Oh, there you go. Sean's sharing an example of reveal view object that tracks each tapped value and displays its metadata and class type and its value in a table. Wow. That's a...
This was intended to mimic the sort of default Cognitect Rebel behavior, where it used to have multiple panels and it kind of automatically Datafi and Nav some things. So it kind of picks apart a whole bunch of common data structures and shows them automatically as tables as you're tapping them. So you get the tap result and you get the table view. And it shows metadata, and I think it showed doc strings as well. So it had kind of a fairly nice way to navigate through namespaces and vars and stuff.
And so you submit this via tap?
Well, this is the piece that actually adds, let's see, I can't remember exactly how it worked. It's been so long since I've worked with it, is the thing. Let's see. So this, oh, right, because what it does is it has a last tap atom, so it tracks what's in that atom, and every time it changes, because it's an observable view. So what happens is you're tapping into reveal normally, and you get the normal tap history. And then you also get this view that's an automatic table view, and it tracks everything that gets tapped because it's another tap listener. And so as you tap each value, it automatically figures out what data type it is and how it should format it and display it. So it's not terribly sophisticated, but it allowed me to do a lot of the sort of automatic stuff that Rebel did, which was it automatically displayed maps as tables and vectors as columns and things like that. as well as it did web views for URLs. So it automatically turned a URL into something that you could then browse, I think. It automatically did the raw view of strings, which was great for doc strings and stuff like that, because then if there were new lines in it, they actually showed in multiple lines. So it was a bunch of little things that just made it easier to navigate around and use it.
Wow, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing.
So I had to go and dig in my Git history because I removed all of that when I stopped using Reveal. So luckily, Git saves the world for us.
Yes, on all previous versions. But this would all be all like, if I want to use this, I would just need to, this function would be, I mean, obviously with all the dependencies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and it does requiring resolve, so it's, I mean, you already require 1.10 and upwards to do Datafi and Nav, so requiring resolve's a 1.10 thing. I think.
Wow, very cool. Have you, so
yeah,
this,
it doesn't even declare a dependency on Reveal, so this actually will only work if Reveal is on your class path anyway, but it'll load up in code that doesn't have Reveal on your class path.
Gotcha. Is this this level of extensibility, is this also present in Portal? Have you seen that or no?
It is, but it's all done differently because it's in the browser, and I haven't dug into that too much because I'm not a sort of ClojureScript UI kind of person.
Oh, gotcha.
So I haven't done anywhere near as much customization of Portal as I used to do with Reveal.
Do you feel like that's, so you don't have a similar like Rebel type of experience? And do you feel like that's because you don't feel like you need it anymore, or you just haven't done it yet?
I find I don't need it as much with Portal. There are a couple of things that I haven't figured out how to get working to my liking yet, but I haven't felt the pain enough to dig in and figure it out. So
Sure.
There's a couple of things around Datafi and Nav behavior that I'm beginning to feel enough pain that I'm going to have to dig in and figure out how exactly it works, because it all worked a lot more intuitively in Rebel and Reveal. But Portal does things a little differently, and I think it's partly because it has to communicate back and forth between the ClojureScript front end, with, well, the JavaScript front end in the browser and the back end. And I think that's killing some of what I'm trying to do. So I haven't quite figured that out yet.
I do appreciate that there's much energy between both of these tools. Like, it's good to have alternatives that you can compare.
There's there's a visual tools group that a visual data group, but it's visual. Essentially, it's bringing together all the people who are writing visual tools. So Vlad and Pez and Chris Badabar of Portal and a bunch of other folks, Adrian Smith, Bronophonic. And they're having kind of regular meetings to look at how much commonality there is in terms of what visual tools do, and whether they can build common libraries and solve common problems, and thus all become a lot better and offer a lot more extensibility. So it'll be very interesting to see what comes out of that.
That just very recently launched, right?
That's
I think
right,
I saw something on Twitter about that. Okay.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, and if you go to Clojureverse, there's a couple of posts about meetings there, and there's a Zulip channel that's pretty active, and a Slack channel for it as well.
Cool. Very cool. I wonder how many more examples there are. Oh, cool. Stock charts. Okay, so there's a lot more to explore as examples in the reveal tree. Worth doing that. Maybe that'll be next time. Let's see. We're interacting with reveal with code. We are almost to the end. If a value submitted to reveal window is a map with a command key, instead of being shown in the panel, it will be interpreted as a command. Yeah, that's what these. It won't change the UI. Only queue-based windows accept commands by default. REPL and a window created using the UI. Oh, so not the tap ones or the stickers. You can also use submit command to submit a command to all shown windows, or submit a command to a subset of windows with a predicate of window ops. Yeah, that's what I was doing over here. Toggle minimize, see if I run that one. So let me see, submit. Let's see. Submit. Turns the UI command that submits the value. Okay, so that just submits the value, just like tapping it. I mean, just like going through tap, but it does it directly to reveal. Clear output, open view, executes a sequence of commands, dispose, minimize, restore, toggle minimized. Okay. I do appreciate the ability to deal with it. Like I like the keyword drivenness, but also the ability to do it via API calls, because I have a way of executing like the clear output. I can mark it with they call them marks in Vim. I can mark it with a mark in Vim. And if it's a capital like letter, then I can be in some other namespace and I can call that code, not just the code that I'm looking at, but that code over there. And so from anywhere I am, I can say like, run that code. I usually alias it to the capital C for clear. And so I can be tapping stuff and running my test, and then I can clear it without having to switch to my reveal namespace that has this submit command in it. So I very much appreciate the API drivenness, or the API ability, if that's the word. Evaluated command forms. You can evaluate code in a JVM that runs reveal by submitting a map that has code form in its command key. Benefit is that you don't need to have reveal on the class path to construct the map. Makes it suitable for use cases where reveal might not be on the class path, or can be in committed code that taps some values during system startup and that is used in development and ignored in production. Yeah, I guess you probably wouldn't want to try to have reveal in your names and your class path, because it probably pulls in all the CLJ effects and then Java effects and who knows what else. AWT probably at some level. By default, the form will be evaluated in Vlad reveal NS, but it is configurable with the NS key. Oh, this is going to be evaluated in the reveal namespace, so you don't have to qualify it. You also supply env, a map of symbols to arbitrary values that can be resolved when evaluated. This map is useful for when you want to pass a value to a code form without embedding it in the form. Show public bars of the NS as a table. Okay. Some talks from Reclojure, SideCloj, practicality demo. Lots of things to explore. There's a Calva extension, looks like. If REPL is a window to a running program, then reveal is an open door, and you are welcome to come in. I get a lot of leverage from the ability to inspect any object I see, and I hope you will find reveal useful too. If you do, please consider supporting my work either by sponsoring development of the free version or by buying a subscription. And the subscription, yes. Cool. Looks like the more of the features are shown in here. All right. There you go. There is the README for reveal. Oh, look at that. We have a celebrity in our midst. Any last closing thoughts before we wrap up? It's 8 o'clock.
Great job on driving. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Oh,
Nate.
thank you. I hope it's useful. I think it's just good to go at a pace where people can keep up, and then just keep keep exploring. Cool. Well, I think we should maybe do Portal next time.
Yeah, that would be a super idea.
Good to compare and contrast.
Great.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks again, Nate. See you all
Thanks
next
everyone
month.
for showing up. It's great to
Thanks.
see you. Have a great month. Great February.
Thank you, folks.
All right. Bye.